Welcome, Mason. So lovely to see you again. It's always a pleasure. I was wondering, I know you guys are making, helping other people raise ICOs, right, by creating tokens. Can you tell me a little bit about what some of the difficulties are that people would be facing? Really trying to get advice for startups that are raising ICOs. What would be the difficulties? What are the challenges? And what do they have to look out for?
Yeah, so we provide sort of like a back-end like SaaS platform for token sales, and the issues are primarily regulatory. So it's always good to have work with a reputable law firm that's worked on a few of these already, to make sure that the companies that are doing ICOs are following all of the proper regulations. Other challenges are around security and stability, and that's sort of where we come in. We make sure that people are using the latest and greatest in terms of wallets and like secure wallets, and that they are launching with a platform that we provide that helps with the stability aspect of it. So I think legal security and stability are the biggest challenges when running a token sale.
And how many are actually becoming successful in the end? Because I know there's been a few quite high-profile ones that have failed.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? Like, what happens when they fail?
Yeah, I think it's very important to figure out like what the definition of failure actually is,
Yes.
because a lot of people are saying they're going to raise a 30 million ICO like a lot of the big names have. But then they raise, maybe half of that or 2/3 of that. That may be seen, as a failure from one perspective, right? They didn't meet what they announced that they were going to attempt to raise. But from another perspective, that is a lot of money compared to what a normal startup would raise.
Yes.
So I think. I don't think they're necessarily like failing. I think it's just the market is maybe cooling down, and they're not overshooting their targets and hitting that cap. So I think that's probably a good thing, that it's cooling down a little bit, and hopefully it will slow some of the folks that are trying to do ICOs without perhaps doing their due diligence. So I think that's probably just the maturing of the market, and it's probably a good thing.
So I guess it's sort of like the early heydays of crowdfunding, that people thought they could do anything. And I did do a crowd fundraise, and it didn't really work for me. So I saw the other side of that in the very early days. So I guess some people win, some people lose. I know, though, that some of the big companies, like there was one recently that raised a lot of money, and then it was announced that they'd failed. What does that mean? That they haven't been able to accomplish the goal that the ICO was going to leverage for them?
I think the greatest challenge is sort of like messaging to the investors. The greatest challenge I see with folks trying to launch ICOs that don't hit their caps is that the messaging isn't exactly what investors want to hear. And so they'll be a little bit iffy, and perhaps the flow of funds won't be exactly what the entrepreneurs are expecting. Yeah.
So what would be your advice to a startup that's wanting to raise an ICO?
Definitely secure a reputable law firm. First thing you do. And a lot of people, they come into this thinking they have a utility token, which means that they have to adhere to a little bit lighter regulations. And so one thing is always be forthcoming with your lawyer about how your token works, because chances are it's probably not a utility token. It is a security. And once that's figured out, take a little bit longer with the fundraising cycle, a little bit longer with the pre-sale, because it's really hard to get the messaging right for the investors, so it takes a little bit of time. Yeah.
Well, thanks for that advice. I might go and launch my ICO tomorrow. I'm just joking. But anyway, and of course they should come to you if they need help with the regulatory stuff as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We'd love to help people launch more regulated ICOs and help them stay in compliance.
And I know you're a great guy to work with, so thank you. And I'm really looking forward to the panel. I think it should be really interesting. Thanks again.
Thank you.